It's Christine Wilson and Saphira Galoob, and you'll thank us later. Tune in every week and hang out with us because we're a lot of fun.
And no topics off the record, we decided. We are open to talking about everything together with a bit of a sense of humor, a lot of self-forgiveness, a lot of grace, and always being wiser on the other end. Bring it on, girls and boys.
You know what? You'll thank me later that I'm telling you about this. You'll thank me. They're going to hate us, Saphira. It's going to be nuts. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to gripe a little bit about myself today. I have just realized that I did not say no again. And I just got elected as the president of my pool board, which I'm excited about the work because I can do some cool stuff with it. But why do I keep overcommitting? No matter
Well,
how much
hold on.
people around me tell me
The
to
last
stop.
time we talked about this, you said all you wanted to do was to let somebody else do that specific job. So
I
you
have
did.
that job.
Did you put your hand up, or did they like vote you in when you left the room? What happened, Christine?
Okay, I have this problem when people are really nice to me and they're like, "You would be so good at this. We really need you. No one else is stupid enough to take this job. Would you please do it?"
Oh, wow. Okay. So we actually, I'm going to put on my little, I do not have a degree in psychology, but I'm going to put mine on anyway. Um, I, oh, Christine, I cannot believe you said yes to that. I'm so sorry.
Well, and I
Um,
just extended my time on the Falls Church Chamber Board too.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that board
Okay.
still.
Yes. So hello. I think we should title this, Hello, my name is Christine and I'm an overcommitter.
I am an overcommitter. And I think so many of my problems go back to my ego, guys. We need to
Yeah.
freaking like take my ego and squish it
Yeah.
into a little box and tell it to shut the frick up. Because as soon as somebody tells me I could do something and that I'd be great for it, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I would be. I should do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess we have two things here. One, is there any way we can actually get you out of this responsibility elegantly? And two, how do we prevent you from continuing to burden yourself? And I'll tell you what, like if my husband were listening to this now, he'd be like, Christine, you and Saphira are both overcommitters. This is like the fox in the hen house telling the other fox don't eat the hens. Like, like two people who are terrible at overcommitting, trying to support each other on overcommitting is what
Yeah.
we have here. But no, seriously, is there any, okay, I've got an idea. I have an idea.
No
Is
going
there
back.
any way that you can say, because is the term specific, or you can say, I have reevaluated and I can do this until we find somebody else?
No. And here's
Yeah.
the thing. I'm good to do the work, but I have to find some other things that I can shed, right? So
Yeah.
I think, one of the other things is like when the basketball team parents volunteer sign up genius comes out,
Yeah.
I feel compelled to work the
Yeah.
concession stands and to
Yeah.
do whatever. By the way, has my husband worked the concession stand?
Yeah. No, he's not. No, he's
No.
not. Right.
When the booster email comes out and says, "Can you do this?" I jump on it. When it's just I get a little bit frustrated by people who don't jump in and be part of the
Yeah.
community and volunteer. So I want to and I'm here's the other thing. When I make a commitment,
Mm.
I don't not show up. Like when somebody says,
Yeah.
"Hey, want to get together for dinner," and I say yes, that means I've now committed to having dinner with you. There's no need for you to
Right.
be like, is Thursday still good? Or do you still want
Right.
to, or are you going to back out
Right.
today? I
Right.
commit, I show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there is, I mean, I suspect, because I used to be a lot worse at overcommitting than I am now. I suspect that as long as you don't have, oh, okay, here's a new Saphirism. Are you ready? We haven't
I'm
talked about
ready.
this one. It's called generosity resentment.
Oh, yeah.
So until you develop that generosity resentment, you're probably going to fall into that kind of that, I don't use the word rut, but that pattern.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a moment, Christine, when you are looking at the board going, I'm done being so generous with you. And now being generous with you causes me resentment towards you. So
Yeah.
as long as you've got that awareness, but I mean, The only thing I would say is your friend is is doing this preventing you from doing things you really want to do? Because back to that whole, are you living your best life? Well, if you're freaking giving it away to everybody else and you don't have time to put on your mask first, who's losing? I mean, they're not winning, they're losing. Because I will tell you, if you did not do it, somebody would just fucking step up. It would not go undone. Now, they may not do it as well as you, but those tasks are not going to be undone. Meaning like those tasks are not
That's
going to
the
be
problem.
without somebody actually doing them.
That's the problem is like, I know I could do something well, and I'm like, it's like
Yeah.
seeing someone else not do it the way I think it should be done is really hard. I mean, there was a
Yeah.
point at when I was a stay-at-home mom, I had 2 whole years where I didn't work. I wanted it more than anything, begged for it. Please let me be home with my kids. And I was on 3 boards within like a month of being a stay-at-home mom. I had 40 hours of work a week easily. I ran the
In those
Mothers of
boards.
Washington.
I
In
remember when you ran, yeah.
Yeah. I like, so it's like I have this one, I do think I'm a better performer in life when I'm busy. Like my
Okay.
grades were always better when I had more going on. I'm sure it plays into my ADHD. There's some
Yeah.
where if I have too much wiggle room, it all
Yeah.
sort of just follows away
Yeah.
and I don't pay attention to anything. But when you feel like you're starting to get a little frazzled and you're not saying no to anything, and
Yeah.
then you feel a little sick about it. I think I'm getting to that
Well,
place.
that sickness is the word I use. I use the word generosity resentments.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
actually may not be
And
generosity resentment towards them. It may actually be towards yourself.
I think it's towards
Yeah.
myself because they didn't
Yeah.
know. Here's the thing, nobody who asks me to do something has done anything wrong. I
Yeah.
invite invitations. Please
Yeah.
ask me to do things. I
Yeah.
don't want to be left out. I don't want to be looked over. I'd like to be invited. I need to get comfortable with saying no and not taking everything as one, obligation, or two, an ego stroking that I
Yeah.
have to fall into that
Yeah.
commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
there isn't there like that study that says if you want like something done, give it to a busy person. Like they know you'll do it and you're reliable.
Yeah.
And frankly, all those folks who are, I mean, like if I were, because I would be part of the chorus of people who wanted you to do it because I didn't want to do it. And
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to say something that may not feel complimentary, but it's just more to tell you a little bit about the way manipulative people are because I'm a little bit like this. Don't kid yourself that
Mm.
part of the reason that they are stroking your ego, not that you don't deserve it, but they also know that the
Yes.
ego stroking is part of what gets you to yes.
Of course. Of course.
So it's not an altruistic ego stroke.
No.
It's not you'd be the best, Miss Christine, but we don't want you to do it because you've already done it all these years. It's you'd be the best at this, and we know that feeds your ego, and that's probably going to get you to say yes again. So it's a
And we
little,
sure as hell don't
it's
want
a
to do it.
mixed. Say again.
And there's also saying we sure as hell don't want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, and if we stroke your ego enough, you'll say yes. Actually, I was at a dinner last night, and somebody said something to me about I think my outfit, and I was like, well, you know that flattery will get you everywhere with me, and everybody was kind of giggling. We all had a little bit to drink, and I was thinking to myself, like I say that tongue in cheek, but I know it's true. Flattery will get you everywhere with me. Just tell me how fantastic I am, and then ask me the question. So I think
Yeah.
we I suffer from that, but I'm more protective of my schedule because I have been an overcommitter before and it really plays havoc in my relationship. I cannot work out. I don't eat healthy. I don't have the recovery time. And so I'm much more, I'm not going to use the word selfish. I'm going to use the word intentional about how I divide my day out. And I would just say, Christine, like, you know, if you decide that having said yes was not the best, didn't work best for your life, I know that you've made the commitment, but we can absolutely um, give a, a transition between the obligation you made and you do not have to serve that obligation the entire time. You can communicate that
Yeah.
things have changed in your life in terms of your bandwidth and your ability to focus, and you do not want to leave anybody high and dry, but we need to have a group discussion on a transition strategy. There is nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to, nobody
Yeah.
has to do any
And
of this. You
right,
don't have to.
right. And I mean, there's also, I mean, we talked about studies. There's studies about this that say that women by far
Yeah,
overcommit before men. They
yeah,
generally say yes to the work projects, yes to volunteering for the school, trying to meet
yeah,
people's expectations. The repercussions of this are really serious, and we've been talking about all these things that I keep attributing to perimenopause, but potentially some of this may just be the exhaustion that I'm feeling by feeling overextended.
yeah.
So
You know
I
what? I have to say something. And what we were talking about earlier, mind load, what would you call it?
oh
The mental
oh
load.
mental load.
Mental load. I have to tell you, so this is really interesting about the perimenopause because they do have, some of the symptoms are brain fog and fatigue. And
Yeah,
so just think about what that graph looks like.
right,
You have a personality to overextend. You're not getting any less busy in your business, yet your body has less fuel in the tank, but
right,
you're still expecting yourself to be able to run as fast and carry as much with less recovery and less fuel in the tank. It's a recipe for it is. Let me just say this: it is not a recipe for success.
right.
It is not a recipe for success in the way you feel. It's not a recipe for success in your emotional, harmony. It's not a recipe for success for self care. And so I would just say, you may be in this moment, and I'm not saying that this is an intervention. We did not intend this to be an intervention episode, but
I opened it up.
well, I do think if we should really maybe even take this offline a little bit. But if these two commitments really do undermine your ability to, ramp up the self-care that you need in your or the recovery time between the other to-dos that you have. Because
Right.
recovery time, oh, we're doing an episode on recovery time. Write that down, Nicole. Recovery time is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It
Oh,
is
it's
as important as oxygen and hydration.
so the recovery time thing, Saphira, is literally to me the way I think I was raised and the way that I see it. Recovery time is guilt filled,
Mm-mm, mm.
lazy,
No, 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 no.
selfish,
Oh,
not
no, no, no.
utilized time. And but I will tell you, Saphira, I'm going to go back to this Aura ring. They should sponsor us because literally the Aura ring graphs your day at your levels of stress and your levels of recovery.
Yeah,
I spend almost no time in recovery, almost none. I spend 90% of my time in either it's stressed and the love
yeah,
uh,
Engaged.
engaged. So I am
Mhm.
and you should have seen my graph the week of Thanksgiving. Holy crap. I mean, it was like I
Wild.
should have been in a mental hospital. Um, so I am literally just a month in to learning about the
yeah.
fact that I provide myself no recovery time, live in stress most of the
Bad
time.
news bear. And we probably have cortisol releasing. And when they look at like anti-aging, they look at like your body's ability to kind of stay resilient and stay strong as we lose all of these hormones and the nutrients, because as you age your body just doesn't work as optimally, and the recovery is absolutely crucial. Okay, we won't go into full recovery here, but I have become I'm not an expert at it, but I prioritize it impressively.
I'm
And I would
trying
love to improve. I
to
would
reset my
love to
mind.
support you. I would love to support you on that because, you don't look at me and think I am lazy or
Mm-mm.
don't deserve to have. There's nothing about me having, we'll call it either downtime or however because I can share like what my practices are for recovery time. You would never judge me negatively for that. And so why would you judge yourself?
Well, I did grow up in a household where if you were sort of just slothing, that was
Yeah.
considered lazy.
Yeah.
And so it's been hard to free that. I will say I was sick a couple weeks ago. And so I had an entire day in bed and Nicole, I think I didn't work that day, right? I just said, guys, I'm checked out. I don't feel well. It's really not great. So I didn't engage with email. I didn't look at Slack. I didn't get on anything. And I had like 6 hours of recovery that day. And yes, of course, I can't do that all the time. But even if I did that for an hour every day or 2 hours every day, where I shut off everything. I go to my own space. I don't feel guilty that I'm not taking the clothes out of the dryer. I don't feel like I have to
Yeah.
make the dinner for people that aren't even going to show up because I forgot they have two practices. I I really realized like it was the only week where I have any sense of balance between stress
Right.
and recovery for the month or 2 months that I've had this Aura ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and I think what you just, yeah,
Um,
that
you
you're
show
putting a
that to
little,
us.
I was showing
framing.
my recovery index because that's like I hate the red bars in my Aura ring, and it's like
Yeah.
one of the only red bars I have that says I need to pay attention to my recovery.
So you
Yeah.
need to do more of it too. So what
And
do you do, Nicole, when you do want to provide recovery?
okay, so there's like different things that you can do. Like one of the things that
Mhm.
what your Aura ring knows too much about you. So it'll be like, did you have a late meal before bed? Did you have alcohol before bed? Yes, I did. Leave me alone. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things because it all comes down to like your heart rate and your resting heart rate. So there are things like that that you can do. But then like I try to go on a walk, get outside, ignore my phone, work out, whether that's vigorous or not. Um, read anything that what generally helps me, those deep breaths, go to yoga, like something like that. But even those small things that you don't think about, like, yeah, I did have a glass of wine right before bed. I know that that's bad for me now, like things like that.
Yeah. So guys, this is the second time. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. This is the second time I've noticed on my Aura ring that while I'm recording with you all, I move down out of the stress and into the lower level living. So there is something that is just doing this podcast that literally calms me, makes me
Mhm.
feel better. I actually put this out on social
I'm
media.
in relaxed.
Yeah.
I went
Oh,
from up
you're
there.
relaxed. I'm
I
almost
went,
relaxed. I'm pretty
yeah, I
close.
went from stressed to relaxed.
Wow. I mean, this is, which is telling of where we need to head our careers, right? And what we put our time and effort into. Maybe it's more energy and focus on things like this that feed me and make me feel good versus the high stress client management, hitting very tight deadlines that keep me at an elevated place all the
Right.
time. I can never be in a
Right.
better mindset.
Well, and I'll tell you, if you do some research on adrenal glands and the release of adrenaline and cortisol in your body and the damage that does, I mean,
Yeah.
we would all like jettison our high stress. I mean, I do like a little bit of stress because I think it kind of
Motivate.
But there
yeah,
are
I just
health,
get excited about it. Like it's I get super excited when I've got something hard to solve. But I will say that maybe it's because I'm the oldest girl amongst us that I have more wisdom than you all on this recovery. Or maybe here's actually what my husband had taught me. And this took me a long time because when I had my dance studio, I was like you, Christine, I just did everything for everybody all the time. And I didn't get my needs met. The people whom you are kind of contributing, particularly on this volunteering for the Chamber of Commerce and the school, it's fine that you do it for you, but don't think anybody is giving you any kind of props or an award or appreciation, and really don't think they're going to fucking show up for you and you need it, because or show up for your kid. Or I mean, it's if you want to do it because you want to make a contribution to your community, fine. But there's nothing that is going to come back into your life on the side of, it's not going to help your business. Likely it's not going to help, it's not, your kids aren't any more appreciative, the community isn't any more appreciative. Like, it doesn't give you, I think there's probably an asymmetry for me. There's an asymmetry in what your motivation is for doing it and what you think you should be getting back for saying yes. When I'm telling you, you're not going to get it back, because the second you basically, move to Spain with me, they have somebody else moved in there the next day and they've forgotten about you.
I'm ready to go. I've been speaking all sorts of Spanish down in Miami. I'm making everybody speak Spanish to me, and they've been so kind about it. Nobody cares that my Spanish is lacking. They literally have been, I mean, I will say in Miami, about 50% of the people you encounter speak Spanish at the very minimum. And they're super great about it. So I'm going to have such good Spanish by the time we move to Spain, Saphira.
I love it. I love it.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna be a
just
lot
keep
better than me because
practicing.
I had to use Google Translate last night in my Uber to tell my Uber driver to take me around to the back of the entrance and not to the front. And I'm like, God, I'm not even. I've been in Spain for like how many years? I can't even ask him to drop me off in the rear entrance. It was yeah. So I have my own
You
studying to
if
do.
you had made rear entrance wrongly, you could have been in a very precarious situation. So I'm
That would have
glad
been
you
like
figured it out.
a sexual innuendo. That would have been like I would have been like putting myself out there. Can you please take me to the rear entrance? Can you please do you know how like the do and make, can you do me in the rear entrance?
Exactly. That's exactly what I
Oh
was
my,
afraid you would have done.
how our podcast just turned fantastic.
It returned.
Well,
Well,
first of all, I'm super glad to know that your Aura Ring is giving you feedback that this is an enjoyable for you, such that you have a more relaxed state of mind. I'm not going to let this commitment kind of addiction of yours go. I'm going to actually support you on this, and I'm
okay.
going to ask you to really, really think about whether or not these two obligations that you've just taken on, do you really want to do them? Because if you say yes, then they're part of your responsibility and you really can't have negative emotion because you decided. But
Right.
if you actually are having a little bit of regret on it, why don't we rethink how you can recalibrate your obligation in a way that serves both you and the community in which you feel not just, a part of, but you feel responsible for making sure it's okay. I think there's a way to make this work such that you're not the one always drawing the short straw on this or absorbing everything. But I really want you to decide, do you really want to continue with these obligations? Because
Yeah.
if you don't, there's a way forward, and not a way out, a way forward.
Right. I agree. I will say I did set expectations with the chamber that I did not have the amount of time and effort that I could have put in the past. So they do know that. They were willing to take me as is. So,
That's
but
because even you at 20% is like you're over outperforming people at their 100%. And they
yeah.
know that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm just gonna say from now on, I will bring things to you before I say yes. We're gonna have a little chit chat, you guys. And
Yeah.
you're
Well, and I think, what, here's the other, that's such a great takeaway. You can still say yes, but it doesn't have to be the next breath out of your mouth.
right. It can take a beat, take a pause.
Yeah. Let me think about that. I know I've been reliable in the past on this, but I've got some new demands in my world. They're only 24 hours a day and I'm only human. Can I think about that and get back? No one's gonna fault you for that.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for this. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to go see if I can continue to keep myself in either an engaged or relaxed state for the rest of the day. Have a
Wonderful.
great one.
Have a wonderful aura day.
Thank you.